Hi and hello SPOLIB viewers, welcome to our YouTube channel. This video explains you about the main elements of the opening ceremony of the Games of the Olympiad. The Olympic Games are the world's only truly global, multi-sport, celebratory athletics competition. With more than 200 countries participating in over 400 events across the summer and winter games, the Olympics are where the world comes to compete, feel inspired, and be together. The modern Olympic Games encompass more than just the drama and excitement of a sporting competition. Thanks to the vision of their founder, Pierre de Coubertin, and the creative efforts of various host organizers, the ceremonial aspects of the Olympic Games have served to set them apart from other international sports competitions. The protocol and splendor of the Olympic ceremonies, which go hand in hand with the celebration of the Games as everyone knows them today, make this event a unique and unforgettable festival. Although there was an opening ceremony at the Games of the First Olympiad Athens 1896, it bore only the slightest resemblance to today's ceremonies. In fact, some of the elements of Olympic protocol that have become a part of today's traditions were only gradually established over time through a series of adaptations to the ceremonies of early editions of the Games. The main elements of the opening ceremony, as outlined in the fact sheet published by the International Olympic Committee on February 8, 2022, are as follows. Rule 55 of the Olympic Charter outlines the protocol that must be observed at the opening ceremony of the Games, including the wording of the opening words to be delivered by the representative of host country. The other important features of the opening ceremony are 1. Entrance of Head of State and International Olympic Committee President. The head of state of the host country is received at the entrance of the stadium by the IOC President. The IOC President then meets the head of state in the official stand. After the entrance of the head of state, the national anthem of the host country is then played or sung, as the host nation's flag is raised. 3. Parade of Athletes. The parade of the athletes reflects both the changing world and the growth of the Olympic movement. Tradition dictates that the delegations parade in alphabetical order according to the language of the host country, except for Greece, which leads the parade, and the host country, which brings up the rear. The delegations of the future hosts of the corresponding Olympic Summer Games would march towards the end of the parade, before the current host delegation. 4. Symbolic release of doves. As doves are the symbols of peace, the opening ceremony protocol calls for a symbolic release of these birds. From 1936 to 1988, the release of the pigeons used to take place before the arrival of the Olympic flame. However, following the unfortunate demise of several pigeons sitting on the edge of the Olympic cauldron at the opening ceremony of the Games in Seoul, the use of real birds has been replaced by a symbolic release of doves, which now takes place after the parade of athletes and before the lighting of the Olympic cauldron. 5. Olympic Laurel Award. The Olympic Laurel is a distinction created by the IOC to honor an outstanding individual for their achievements in education, culture, development and peace through sport. It recognizes the contributions of the laureate to human development, in the spirit of the ancient Olympic Games and according to the vision of Pierre de Coubertin, renovator of the Olympic Games. Starting in Rio de Janeiro, the Olympic Laurel is presented during the opening ceremony of every Olympic Games. Kip Keino, Ken, is the first ever recipient of the Olympic Laurel. Symbolizing the connection with the ancient Olympic Games, the stone used in the trophy comes from ancient Olympia. The creation of the Olympic Laurel is part of the reforms under Olympic Agenda 2020, the former strategic roadmap for the future of the Olympic Games. 6. Official speeches. First, it is the president of the organizing committee who gives a brief speech from the rostrum. Then the president of the IOC gives a speech and invite the head of state to open the Games. 7. Opening of the Games. The head of state proclaims the Games open without any further speech by saying, I declare open the Games of London celebrating the 30th Olympiad of the modern era. 8. Raising the Olympic flag and playing the Olympic anthem. After the head of state opens the Games, the Olympic flag, unfurled horizontally, is brought into the stadium. The Olympic anthem is performed as the flag is raised to the top of the pole. The Olympic flag must be flown for the entire duration of the Games. 9. Athletes, judges, and coaches' oath. During the opening ceremony, representatives from the athletes, judges, and coaches usually recite oaths to emphasize fair play, respect, and sportsmanship throughout the Games. 10. Lighting of the Olympic flame. The ancient Greeks considered fire to be a divine element, and they kept fires burning constantly in front of their principal temples. This was the case in the sanctuary of Olympia, where the ancient Olympic Games took place. A flame burned permanently on the altar of the goddess Hestia, and such fires were also lit on the altars of Zeus and Hera, in front of whose temple the Olympic flame is lit today. In ancient times, the flame was lit using the rays of the sun, to ensure its purity, and a scophia, the ancestor of the parabolic mirror used today to light the Olympic flame. The flame is carried from Olympia by a relay all the way to its final destination, the Olympic Stadium in the host of the Olympic Games about to begin. The final torchbearer will run a lap of the stadium before the flame is used to light the Olympic cauldron, which remains lit for the duration of the Games and is extinguished only during the closing ceremony. And 11. The artistic program. Usually, the content of the artistic program is kept secret until the last minute. Over the years, Games organizers have managed to find creative ways to combine Olympic protocol with just the right amount of entertainment, cultural references. The opening ceremony often features a spectacular artistic performance that showcases the culture, history, and traditions of the host country. It may include dance, music, theatrical displays, and multimedia presentations. These elements come together to create a memorable and inspiring opening ceremony, setting the tone for the Olympic Games and celebrating the spirit of international competition and cooperation.